Well, asking questions at a Theosophical Society meeting, certainly in Cardiff, this is part of our act. We encourage questions. We might vary it where the speaker, particularly an outside speaker, finishes their talk and then is open for questions. Or when I do a talk, I'm open for questions at any point in the talk. But questions are part of our act and we do encourage them. However, I've got a copy of the meeting notes for Cardiff Theosophical Society's committee from May the 31st, 1937. It is a long time ago, and that hasn't always been the case. And there's a piece here entitled Written Questions for Public Meetings. A message was conveyed from Mrs. Banks asking that all questions public meetings should be written for a time on account of members being rather discourteous to lecturers by asking questions. Well, I can only conclude that firstly, asking spontaneous questions possibly was a breach of formal etiquette in 1937. I don't know, I can't imagine in the modern era that asking a question, and it depends on the questions they were asking, I suppose, but asking a question would be in any way discourteous. Anyway, it continues. This proposition was placed before the committee by Mrs. Thomas, and after a lengthy discussion on the matter, I bet it was lengthy, Mrs. Riddler proposed that the President should either see or write to members, so they couldn't resolve it, and they pushed it along to see if the President could make a decision on it. This was seconded by Mrs. Phillips. An amendment was made by Mr. Farmer that procedure would be absolutely useless, and I think by procedure possibly the idea that you have somebody chairing the meeting and fielding the questions on behalf of the speaker as a sort of filter, and we have done that here sometimes depending on the speaker. However, he goes on to say he thought written questions would be the only answer. Then a vote was taken by the President, so the President actually took charge, that she should be allowed to handle this matter according to how she herself thought. And this was carried unanimously. So there we are, the formality of 1937. Don't want people just asking questions, want to go through either procedure or put them in writing. I mean, certainly with our questions here, we have, say, a talk lasting 3/4 of an hour to an hour, and very often the questions go on for as long as the talk did. So how you would go on with everybody having to write out questions and be here till midnight. Okay, well, that's how they did things in 1937.